Hey there, I'm Gray Buck, Major League Fishing Pro, and we're getting ready to go out for day 2 of the Bass Pro Tour on Dale Hollow Lake. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how often I change my line. I get this question all the time, and why I change it so much, why I'm always going through line. And it's one of those things. We put it on here, and both of these rods, I was using a spinnerbait down there a lot and throwing it just around wood, banging it off, that stuff. And honestly, it's in great shape. This is Seaguar Tatsu. It's hard to damage this, but with so much on the line with the tournament, where standings, points, cashing a check or not, there's a $10,000 swing there between getting in there or not. So it's a really big deal. So we can't put anything to risk here. That's why I change it after each tournament day. And then once I get home, I'll leave it on there. I'll practice, I'll fun fish, and I'll do all sorts of other fishing with the line I currently have on there. But tournament day, I definitely take it off. So these are the 2 spinnerbaits I was throwing here. I'm going to show you how I take this off. You're going to engage your spools, just like so. And then I'm going to do both of these rods at one time. And basically, get my workout in, start doing a little bit of swimming. I have about, I would say probably 75 yards of line on these things right here. I have backing on the first, say, quarter of the bait casting spool here, but you can see I just kind of pull it right off. I can turn it if you want to see it a little bit better too, just like so. And I'm just going to pull this right off here. These are favorite reels. They're Soleus XCSs, and with this I'm putting 17-pound line on. I want something that's fairly heavy that I'm going to be able to get fish out from behind a lot of cover. Yesterday when I was out there, I had one that I threw way back behind a pretty much a giant lay down. It was in a back pocket, and I just threw up and over top of it there. I saw one of my knots coming, so I was paying attention to this. But when I was threw back over that lay down, I actually got the fish hung up, and I had to get to quickly. I trolled right over to it, got to the other side of the log, and when I did that, I was able to have my line that was just grinding away on the log hold up, and I didn't have to worry about breaking it off. So that was a huge reason why I'm using Seaguar Tatsu, and another reason why I want to take this off and get some new fresh stuff on there. So we can see we got my other knot here. And what I do is I'm going to separate these 2 rods real quick. I'm going to take my line, and we're going to take the 17-pound Tatsu I'm going to use here next. So I'm going to actually tie these 2 together, and I will show you how I do it, but I honestly don't know the name of this knot. I think maybe it's a blood knot. You basically cross them, and you're going to wrap the one down the line about 5-6 times. I will never get down to this knot bass fishing, so I'm not real worried about it being a great knot. But you put it there, down, and you take the same, or the other tag line, do the same thing up the other edge, go back through that little hole that was created there. And I know you probably can't see this, but it'll at least show you an idea. Start to pull it shut, wet it, pull it tight. You can see I got those 2 little tag lines, and we are going to take this here, clip it, and now we're ready to put our line on. So when I do this, I take this, an old favorite spinning reel box, and this, you can see this fits perfectly in there. And what's great about this is now I have somewhere to spool out from that was something I already had. So it weighs enough. You can see I got it just coming right off there, and I'm going to fill my bait caster all the way up to the very top, because I want to make sure I have as much line as I need. There's times like yesterday when I got stuck on that log with that fish that was on there. It was grinding on it. I cut off about 15 foot of line, maybe 20 foot of line, just to make sure I had the freshest stuff on top still. And when you have a full spool, you're able to do that, and it gives you better casting distance. You get more inches per turn of your reel, because it's a bigger spool at that point. Something to consider. That's why you want to make sure you keep your spools all the way full. So that one's good there. Cut that off. Gonna do the same with this guy here. and we'll be good to go then. But just make sure you think about it, be mindful of your line. If you get to the point where you say you're just fishing for fun, this will not really affect you as much. You can go out there. At that point, I'm using it until maybe you start feeling it's kind of nicked up a little bit. Maybe it's got a little bit of a, like I can run my finger across this and it's super smooth. If you really pull your finger across this and it feels like kind of braided or a little bit rough or something like that, that's when you want to start considering switching it out. And if you're using the appropriate line size to the structure or whatever you're fishing around, that makes a big difference too. So if you're fishing around super heavy cover, you want to make sure you have some heavier line on there, fresher stuff, you know, and versus fishing out in the middle of open water, say you're Damiki rigging or something like that, where maybe you're not going to be bumping into any cover like that. It won't matter as much. But this is basically what I do, and I'll do this for all my bait casters that I plan on using again. Spinner baits are the two main ones. Then I have a couple of leader lines that I'm going to retie on my spinning rods. I'll go through those, kind of get them all squared away as well, and I'll be good to go. So if you have any questions about respooling or when to do it, put them in the comments below. I'm happy to help you, happy to talk about it. I do highly recommend Seaguar line. It's what I've used since college. It was one of those deals. I bought it then. I was actually using it in VizX back then, and I still use it a lot. It's a really good line too. But I just kind of kept using that as I worked my way up through the BFLs and Toyota Series, FLW Tour, all the way to the Bass Pro Tour. And I had reached out to Seaguar about getting a sponsorship deal, and for 2 years they kind of turned me down, and I ended up starting off with like a discount deal, and then I worked my way up the product deal, and until I got to the Bass Pro Tour. And the last couple of years it just kept growing and growing and growing, and that's what you're trying to look for. But I would not be using anything else. I could have gotten probably a deal with another company beforehand to have a paid deal and free line and all that, but this is the stuff I trust. Top notch, best of the best. Make sure you check out Seaguar line.